Alrighty. First question, how do group members view outsiders?
Well, while we're fighting, we refer to them as mundanes, just people who aren't participating at the moment.
Yeah.
We know to watch out for them and to, we don't hurt them or hit them because they're not wavered. But as far as viewing other people outside the group, it's a pretty good question because it's like we're made up of such an eclectic group of people. Naturally, most of our people here, they're all college students. From a variety of majors to a variety of degrees, as in, I'd say most of them are bachelors, or seeking their bachelors at least. We have a couple of master's students, and I'm a doctoral student. So I would say we have a slighted view, any different view of other people than just a normal person would.
Yeah.
It's just,
it's kind of
it
mutual.
doesn't change because they're out here. It's just their own views.
I got you. Alright, what motivates members to belong? What motivates you to be a LARPer?
Well, a lot of people LARP for different reasons. Some people LARP for the actual role play. Some people LARP it's a sport. Myself, to me, this is a sport.
Yeah.
I absolutely love fighting. As a sport, you have the same kind of sports injuries you could have, say, like football or soccer. You tear things, break things. The weapons aren't necessarily harmful, but just the contact with the ground is.
Oh yeah, I bet. Alrighty. What artifacts are present, like signs, and do LARPers have like a specific sign or like motto or anything of that nature?
Well, I'll tell you this. If you're investigating LARPers as a subculture, it's really, if you read around online, you can find out that there are a wide variety of LARPs. Amcard is just one of them, and the Amcard is different than a lot of others. It tends to be more combat-based than actual roleplay, but there's still room for roleplay. Whereas there are some LARPs. There's actually another one here at SFA that is almost pure roleplay. So minimal combat, lots of roleplay.
Yeah.
Not my kind of LARP.
Yeah.
So, but I've been involved in Amcard for about 10 years. Both my parents do it. I'm sorry, what was your question?
What artifacts, like stuff like that?
Not that I'm aware of in Amcard, but my knowledge is primarily limited to Amcard.
Alrighty. What is the nature of gender relations in this group?
What do you mean by that? Can you define it?
Like, how do the genders get along? Like, are there a bunch of women that come play? Or is it mainly?
Well, I would say it's male-dominated, but we have the game itself is, I wouldn't say dominated by either gender. Because Amcard has an additional, side to it. Besides combat and roleplay, there's an arts and science part where people like sew clothes or do some crafting, people actually make armor, siege weapons, just any kind of construction-based thing. It would help a physicist that makes stuff.
I got you.
It's pretty neat.
So y'all don't make y'all's own stuff, or?
We do. As far as armor, sometimes we get stuff out. Like I've bought an armor, but not made by anybody I know. Most of our weapons are pull foam and golf shafts.
Yeah.
So.
Alrighty. What is this group gathering and why? I'm guessing here just for space and stuff?
Yeah, actually, about 15, maybe 20 years ago, there was another amp card group that met here. They've all since graduated by now. They met here at this park, and when I first moved here, I played in other parks in Houston and Lufkin. But I wanted to be able to fight here and not have to drive. And so I looked up the old records, and this is where they used to fight, and there's plenty of space for us to do it.
Yeah, there's plenty.
You know, no one's really bothered us at all, which is great. Maybe people ask questions, but I've been in other parks where, you know, the community's like, oh, devil worshiper.
Yeah.
It's just people who are ignorant to who we really are.
Yeah, I understand. Alrighty. What is the group's social hierarchy, and how is it organized and maintained?
Social hierarchy?
Yeah.
I would say just think of it like high school, man. A lot of the local groups, say park chapters, like this one, don't intermingle with others very often. Once every 3 months, there's like a camping event where a couple hundred people show up, and there you really see kind of cliques and hierarchies come out, but it's nothing really defines it. Take for example, I said that I view amp cards more of a sport, so an amp card, we call people like me stick jocks. We just love to go out and fight. That's all we do. We don't care about anything else. We just want to fight. So we excel at it. We get better at it. So most people that focus on role play, they're not very good at it. And so therein we've created our own subgroup of jogs, basically, kind of separating ourselves from the others. Some of the stick jocks don't really care or to intermingle with anybody else, but
their group,
right? So and you see those kind of things. And like I said, it's very similar to high school.
Yeah, very similar. What's the relationship between the local culture, like people around here, and the larger culture with which it identifies?
Find that a little better for me.
Like, how does y'all's group relate to like everybody? Like, are there more jocks and stuff like around the world? Like, would you say that?
It's fairly evenly distributed. I go once a year to an event in Mexico. And there's usually about 1,000 people there. Sometimes more, sometimes less. And you still have a wide variety. Stick jocks all know who they are. People who like playing different games all know who they are. And then you have people that kind of blend in between. It's just like I said, just like in high school. You have the kids that have kind of moved to different groups. So.
What are the culture's most symbolic or significant rituals?
Well, if you call showing up to the local park on a weekly basis, that's a ritual. There's not really any, well, I guess there are some others. Sometimes you earn awards, and those are done in a very ritualistic fashion. They're handed out at what's called a court. So take the Kingdom event, for example. Saturday night is when like the big meal's prepared, called feast. And then the reigning officials for that set of 6 months hands out awards. So they call call for the person who's receiving the award. They talk about it. They hand it out, and that goes for about an hour. But what's really neat, and I don't know if you've seen me on Google or not, but it'd be worth looking it up, is an amp card knighting. Not all knightings are great. Sometimes they're pretty bland. But to become a knight, it takes years and years of service generally for participation. And so that's a highly valued
there any other steps above knighthood? It's just knighthood.
Yeah, the way you get knighthood, and I should explain that, is when I said awards, most awards are what's called ladder awards. So your first one, your second one, your third, your fourth, in a certain category, all the way up to the 10th. And once you reach your 10th, you're able for what's called masterhood, which means you've mastered your craft or whatever the award is. Once you get that, you're available for knighthood. Probably going up to 10 and getting that sounds easy. It's not. Some people have been playing 15 years, never gotten it. Sometimes they don't care about it anymore, or they never wanted it to begin with. It took me about 7 years.
So it's definitely a long process.
Yeah, but it's worth it in the end because it's like myself. I value that ritual. I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to achieve that status. So I worked hard towards it.
Gotcha. Well, that kind of answered my last question. Is there
an
initiation of some kind? I guess.
Yeah, that's
about it.
Initiation in knighthood. But as far as and I guess this is another thing that'd be interesting to talk about. It's not necessarily confined to stick jocks, but fighting companies. Think of them more like football teams.
Mm-hmm.
People who know each other get together and form a fighting company. And so when they go out and fight together, they tend to fight together on a team against other people. But these are all like even smaller subgroups of Amtgard. So there's hundreds and hundreds, and they're not just made up of just stick jocks. You know, they have people who make clothes, who just some people brew beer. You know, it's just this whole variety of things people can do. But there's a traditional feeling of the fighting company is that everybody should be able to fight, and that's not always the case.
Yeah.
Some companies are large, 30, 40 people, maybe more. Some are small. I think mine is like 10 offhand, without counting them all out. Yeah, I've been in my company for about 7, 8 years, maybe 9.
Is that just around here? Does that go back to Lufkin?
I'm the only one around here in my company. Most of my company lives in Bryan College Station. I got one at Fort Hood. One lives in Missouri now. One guy lives in Houston. That's about it. He's everybody. And I don't see him too often. Sometimes I'll drive down to Bryan and hang out. We hang out outside the game. And that's typical of fighting companies. You know, they become really good friends outside of the game. You can do other things. Like this weekend, they're all getting together to watch the UFC fights. So,
should be good.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that about wraps it up. I don't have any more questions. You have any questions?
No.
All right. Well, thanks, man.